All right. How y'all doing?
Good.
You guys forgot I'm black. So today we're definitely running on black time. We're about 55 minutes late. I don't give a shit. I don't care. Be as mad as you want. It's my birthday, and I'll cry if I want to. I'm just fucking with you guys. Good morning. Duante Barnett here. It's been wonky around here. We've had rain. We've had more rain. We're from Seattle, so if some of you guys wonder why I'm always so depressed, guess what? It's fucking Seattle. It's wet. Shit. God damn it. But yeah, I didn't set my alarm. And the dog ate my fucking homework. We're gonna do this like Saved by the Bell, right? I got all kinds of fucking excuses today. I don't care. But I'm surprised. Our guest today, guess where they're fucking from? And I didn't even know it because they're in fucking Britain or whatever fancy island that is, right? They're from fucking Seattle too. So this is gonna be fucking fun. And they don't have an accent or anything. I had all these posh jokes. I was gonna tell them to fuck off and all this shit. And now I'm just like, you sound like one of my Karens out here. All right. I'm not parking in a handicapped spot without a placard. I got a placard. Leave me the fuck alone. No. But as we always say, we have our co-host today. I wanted to give a huge shout out. Moment of silence, maybe thoughts and prayers. I know that sounds horrible. That's the thing. But Audra CSAC had to take some time off. At first, it was for personal endeavors. She's expanding. She's getting better. She's funnier and shit. All these different things. But really, what also happened is, unfortunately, she had another epileptic seizure. And so I want everybody to put their thoughts out, give her a mental hug, and think about Audra. I know she's been going through a lot. Her mom made it through, so that's a good thing. Polite Kitty's mom's okay. I know mom's home. She had a seizure I think it was yesterday or the day before, so I know she's definitely at home and could use everybody's good vibes. So if you got some good mojo, make sure you send it out, all right? Yeah. All right, enough of the sad stuff. Nobody's talking today. The other two are like, and that's like, I'm not saying shit. This guy's crazy. Right? But as always, she was real slick with the fucking sound effects about 3 minutes ago. Like she had everything going. She had all her sound effects at Q. And I see she's got the dinosaur out. We're gonna call him, what is it?
It's broccoli.
Broccoli. That's right. I told
Broccoli.
It's been a while. I wasn't here last month. I had Mother's Day isn't a good day for me, basically. But give it up for the potato chip enthusiast.
Hello, it's me.
I should have warned you earlier to probably turn a half a turn because you're bright as hell. You don't look Asian today. You look full white.
Yeah, I know. Well, because like I turned on the light behind me, and then it looked like we were on the sun, and I was like, "That's a little too powerful." But then when I don't have the ring light on, it's like we're in the ring, and it's a little too dark. So it's
that's
like,
the great where you're like, I don't want to get sunburned on the podcast. I just don't want to. Dante's just definitely going to troll me with how white I am if that happens. I know how this works, right?
Okay, today I'm 75% white, 25% Asian. It's usually the other way around.
I love it. Funny part is I don't know, I guess that I had somebody heckle me about being mixed. It was like, it's not as hard being full. It's like, I'm getting it from you black people too right now. I got a black guy heckling me, so leave me alone. Well, how are we doing this morning, Miss Janejira? Anything new in your neighborhood? I know you got something. Well, maybe you don't want to announce that job, but I know you're great. How's the cartoon going, real quick?
Pretty good. The project has some new artists, and they're gonna do a great job. And that's all I'm allowed to say.
I don't like this new Janejira. The less what would be the word, professional, not in charge of the graphics lady would have leaked some information. Oh my god, you didn't hear this here, but we got a black character now who's trans. Oh my god, it's great, it's awesome. Yeah. Now I signed an NDA. You bougie bitch. Whatever, right? You bougie.
But yeah, if you want to support the project, American Kintsugi on Patreon. Yay.
If you want to support the project, it's American Kintsugi. Whatever.
But you could also just support my Patreon instead, whichever works.
Yeah, there we go. Make it easy on them. You can just look me up, Janejira, right?
Yeah, Janejira draws.
We got our guest today. This is Janejira does not draw. She does design. She leads. She does more than draw. I think you're understating yourself. Whatever. I'm not kissing your ass today. That's all she's getting out of me. Anyways, our podcaster today. Now we say artists, and we say usually we're funny. This one seems a little more serious. She works. She's done performances about feminism, identity, gender, sexuality, and overall differences between individuals. I know she works a lot with the Academy, which is the Autistic which is the Autistic University that helps students in the UK and helps people just in general do a lot of things we're doing, but on a more serious note and a lot less F-bombs. Anyways, give it up out of England right now for Dr. Annette Foster.
Hello.
I know you're.
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, I know. I had a whole spiel. I told you I was gonna piss off, fuck off. I was like, this is gonna be fun. I wonder if she's got any personality. I think Chloe's the funny one. Couldn't find out Chloe's the stuffy one. So we made sorry, shit. Did I say that out loud? Sorry, Chloe. Chloe's watching. How they doing this morning? Morning.
She is watching.
Did I just tell her like this is Bert and Ernie? Like she thought she was Bert this whole time or Ernie this whole time? And she's like, what are you saying? You're saying I'm Bert? You're saying I'm this? This could go bad. How are we doing this morning, Annette?
I'm good. Yeah. So, yeah, it's great. Because I didn't know that you guys were from Seattle. Sorry.
Oh, what the fuck?
So I think that's amazing. I haven't lived there since 2001. So it's been a while.
You were like 7 or 8 because you're like 29 years old.
I sadly know. But yeah, so I've been in the UK for quite a long time. Yeah, always been an artist, but I kind of I have a fine art background, so I like to draw, and I'm not very good at it.
Okay.
So Annette draws, not Janejira draws. Annette draws. We both heard that at the same time, huh?
I kind of see myself as a multidisciplinary performance artist. So I'm not really. I actually did my PhD in drama, but I know nothing about drama really. So I'm kind of like, I make art that involves me. That's all I can say. So I write stuff that I might poetry or scripts that I might perform. I make costumes. I make objects. I create like environments for people to be in. Yeah, and so was making. I moved to the UK because there was a lot more opportunities as a performance artist in the UK because it's kind of a big thing there. More venues back 20 years ago, I'd say.
Well, there is a little bit more of an appreciation for the arts, right, from a European standpoint, I think. In general, you think about the Louvre, the Colosseum, even though that was to watch competing sports, Europe's been a little bit more ahead of the curve on that idea. Whereas, America had powwows, and we did a little rain dance, so ours was a little different historically, right? So it's just different. Do we have a topic this morning? I don't know. I think it's weird because for me, we usually start with a topic, and I haven't had anything crazy. I don't think we've had anything crazy go in the neurodivergent world in the last month and a half, have we?
That's probably a good thing, right?
Yeah.
I guess we're not being divergent. We're being normal. But you know what I'm saying? Like usually something's happened to a kid. Something's happened to somebody. Oh, I got a good question to start off with.
Oh,
I'll ask Janejira first. Actually, I'm going to ask you first, just to start the show while I get everything done. I'm going to ask, you're American. How do you feel
Yeah.
about gun violence? Because I mean, with you
Gun
being in
violence.
England, you guys don't deal with the school shootings, the hospital shootings. What else got a church shooting that we've had in the last month? I think we've had 50 people killed in the last 4 or 5 months, 2 to 3 months nationally. What are your thoughts and prayers, or what are your thoughts
I
on?
mean, it's obviously horrible, and it a lot of times it's a bit embarrassing to be an American in Europe because people are like, "What are they thinking? Why are there not laws being passed?" And ultimately, yeah, I think that we should have much stricter laws. I mean, U.S. is the only country that hasn't banned assault weapons for kind of just normal, that has so much. It's a big topic. What am I supposed to say, Dante? It's horrible.
I went super serious, and that was like, you just said this was gonna be fun, and this
I
was gonna be
know.
a great fucking time, and then you start off the show with this heavy ass topic. You know what? Fuck you, buddy. Right.
I mean, it is something that's happened, and it's horrendous. And obviously, my heart goes out to the families. Of there's been quite a few shootings in different states.
That's all you have to say. I'm sorry I put you on the spot. It's more of an American topic. That's my bad. Just kick me in the teeth next time you see me, all right?
Okay.
Next time you see me, I just, it's something that's relevant right now. Even at the Storm game I'm working, everybody's wearing all orange to commemorate gun violence or some shit. And I was like, wearing orange doesn't help, but I'll get to my response in a second. Janejira, anything other than thoughts and prayers? I guess I'm being sarcastic. Is the answer, right?
I don't know if this is like a hot take or anything, but your thoughts and prayers are not doing anything, you guys. I'm sorry.
Hello.
Facebook
Sorry,
moms.
that's what I was getting. And that was like, can I say that? I don't want to get canceled. They want to let me back in when I get over, right?
Yeah, like if you want to fix the problem, we have to get to the root of the problem, which is the laws around guns and shit. Because
Yeah.
the people who do the shootings, they got the guns probably at like Walmart. Like they had no problems getting the weapons, and we're just gonna ignore that it was so easy to do that and then focus on literally everything else. Like, you guys, fix the root of the problem.
I
Yeah,
want to
it
do
seems
that.
very obvious. No, being outside of the UK, being outside of the US, it seems very obvious what needs to be done. But obviously,
Oh, now you want to start giving me the answer I was looking for. Right? Like now she's got, when she's not on the spotlight.
I said to ban assault weapons. What do you want?
No, I was just gonna say, I just wanted to hear that exact quote. I was waiting to hear. Since I've been in the U.S., it's not the same. I don't see a gun hillbillies walking around the corner with their guns. I don't think you see people bragging about how many. I mean, you do. There's still gangsters, thugs, mob, all that everywhere, but it's just not the same. As more I was getting at. She's like, what did I do wrong? Everything. I'm not telling you again, all right? You better start answering these questions better. I'm going to have to get a new guest. Where's Chloe at? No. I guess the reason
Seattle.
Go ahead.
I'm just Seattle it's kind of an island of its own. Seattle, Portland, California. Yeah, it's very different from a lot of the U.S. and people don't really think about that outside of the U.S.
It's not anymore. We're unfortunately.
Oh no.
Yeah, we're having a shooting every week out here in Seattle now, I think. Yeah,
Great.
at least once a week we're having a shooting, robbery, some homeless guys doing something crazy, somebody's getting shot, about once a week now in Seattle. So we're not. You left at the right time if that's how you feel. Sorry. And if you're in Seattle and that hurts your feelings, fuck you. Go to Third and Yester. Never mind. I mean, Third and Pine. Try to go to the McDonald's again, right? It's closed. I guess I brought this up just because I wanted to say something about it, and we don't really talk about gun violence, and it's not a racial issue. It happens to everybody, but there's two things. One, we know who the demographic of most of these shooters are. So when they start walking on campus crazy, security guard, maybe call somebody. Don't wait till he gets inside because most of them look the same. Number two, this shit's getting out of hand. I think with the last shooting in Texas, to see that, what was it? I think 15, 16 kids total got hit, 14 to 16 kids died. That is ridiculous. But the biggest thing I think we all are not talking about is that 40 minutes that the cops sat outside the school and didn't go inside and risk their lives to save it. That is the biggest act of cowardice I've seen in our country in a while. And that is the only thing that I noticed in that event that I think we should have been able to change. I don't know if we should be arming our teachers with guns. I don't think that's the answer, because if you're a white kid, maybe not a big deal, but if you're a black kid and you piss off one of your teachers, I don't think they need to have a gun. They're already scared of us enough already, right? Cops are shooting us, teachers might too. So that's probably not the solution, right? But we got to get better. Fuck. I started with a dark topic today. I'm definitely not.
Definitely. Yeah, I just don't think there's any place for assault weapons. I think they need to be banned. And, you know, the cops were afraid of the assault weapon. You know, that's, and you're right. Yeah, it's quite cowardice.
The thing, though, another thing that was in the article is that the cops went in and saved their own kids and then let the other kids die. And it's like, bro, what?
Bingo. That was the one that killed me.
I didn't hear that.
Their kids. Yeah. So supposedly the idea is that the cops got there, showed up, told everybody else they couldn't go inside. While they did that, they went inside, made sure their kids got away. There was one mom who threw a fit, got arrested while nobody was fucking paying attention, hopped out her handcuffs, went and got her kids and left. She's a fucking hero. That lady who's like, fuck this. You're not stopping me from getting my kids, let's say. Nah, I don't give a fuck. That lady was the hero. The 40 cops that sit out 40 minutes, like, I don't, you get, and I'll say that this is the one I'll end on. If you're a soldier, guess what? You get paid to die. If you're a cop, guess what? You get paid to die. If you're a fire department person, fireman, there we go, fire police officer, right? You get paid
police
to
officers
die.
should get fired.
That is part of your job, right? If you're even a paramedic, right? Because you're going into danger, you are paid to die. So if you're watching this or you know somebody who does one of those jobs and they're scared to die, tell them to get a new fucking job, because there's going to come a point where they're supposed to risk their lives and that's what they're paid to do. And if you're not willing to do that, you're going to let a lot of people down at some point. We need somebody else to be counting on. Sorry. Anyways, damn, did I get on my pedestal? I just did the black eye thing there. Like, fuck the police. I said it without saying it. All right, let's have some fun. Annette, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
She's taking out her stress ball. That means she's like, oh, fuck, this got bad. So tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you're in the UK now. You're from Washington. When were you diagnosed? Kind of give us your background on yourself.
Sure, yeah. So I found out, I'm trying to remember what the year, but I found out I was autistic when I was 39 years old in the UK. And that was 11 years ago. So, yeah, you can do the math.
Yourself. You're like 28, right? Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, 28. Yeah, so, and it really threw me because I had no clue. I kind of struggled with my mental health most of my life and just kept going back to the doctor, going, okay, therapy's not working, drugs not working, this isn't working, that's not working. I'm still really struggling. So yeah, I remember going to this psychologist and them going, I don't think you're autistic, and me saying I don't either. This is way back, this is a while ago.
And that's back when
11 years ago.
When everybody thought you had to have Down syndrome or the symptoms of Down syndrome to basically be autistic in a sense. Like it was more of a mental delay than a social delay, right?
Well, yeah. I suppose they probably thought that, women, for one thing, weren't autistic. Very few. And if they were, or anybody who's non-binary or trans as well, wouldn't have been considered autistic. And yeah. I was too empathetic, all sorts of things. That wasn't right for me.
Right.
But so it.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, it's fine. That was very exciting. Yeah, so it just really changed my view on the entire world. I mean, I think a lot of people when they discover, something big about themselves. You just kind of, I always say that you're kind of a baby. When you discover you're autistic, you have to figure out who you are again. For me, I was a massive people pleaser. I was masking and shielding a lot to kind of get through life, which wasn't working, obviously. And I had to figure out who I was, what I enjoyed. I mean, the only thing that kind of has been a constant is art throughout my whole life. That's been the thing that saved me, been my massive dedicated interests in all sorts of ways. And yeah, so I decided to go back to university. I don't know why. For some reason, I always wanted to do a PhD in art. And I did a master's of fine art in Phoenix, Arizona, actually. I was there for 4 years.
You just love America, it sounds like.
Yeah. So, yeah, education. I do well in education. I think a lot of autistic people do. I like
Yeah, there's
that
a
part of it.
measure. There's a bar. We get a goodie. I can tell you if I'm better than you without saying I'm better than you. There's a standard, right? I get gold stars. I get treats, all that stuff. Well, let me ask you this: so you said you were diagnosed at 39, and it took you a while. I know for me, my diagnosis was something self-diagnosis at 38 and a half, right? So around the same age, right? And a lot of
Yeah.
people say well, what was the big deal about getting the diagnosis? And I feel like when we all decided, hey, Dante's special, and then I got interviewed by the ARC and they agreed. Because the way it happened is our co-host Audra and Jane had this moment where they told each other they were autistic, and Jane told us, and Audra was like, oh, well, guess what? I went to high school. We're both autistic too. And I was like, what? She's like, you didn't know that? And I was, no, I didn't know that. She's like, well, I thought you knew the whole time and just didn't tell anybody. Fuck you. You know what I mean? Like, don't put that shit on me. I'm only half white. Only white guys get autism, right? Like, that's not a thing.
Plot twist.
Right. But then I thought back when we did this whole interview, and it was like, for us as kids, we got sent to portable classes. You know what I'm talking about? You're from
Yeah.
You do
totally.
You're right. Well, and then I tell people that, and they're like, oh, you went to portable? Oh, yeah, you definitely are special needs. Yeah, I went to portable classes from like kindergarten to fucking like 5th grade. So, and they're like, oh, what? Yeah, I know I look like this, but yeah, me and the guy that bit his shirt and the other guy who rode the wheelchair, that's why they knew me so well. And everybody's, why do they know Dots? Because I got to ride the little bus with these assholes, because half the day I go to another school. I only get to go to the regular school half the day. That's not supposed to be that fucking funny to you. But my point is you're from Seattle, and I guess you understand this is, it's been hidden that you don't even get told you're special needs. You just get sent to a different classroom. You've got a one-on-one counselor when we were kids, because I'm not, we're around the same age. You're a little senior more.
Yeah, I'm a little bit older.
Right? So I can only imagine, right? But you know what I'm talking about. In your Bellevue school, she's from Sammamish. She's rich. Don't worry, or at least her family was. I'm throwing out all kinds of judgments right now, right? But it's the same area, right? So
yeah.
Is it different? Is autism treated differently over in the UK versus here? Because it sounds like they didn't want to diagnose you. Was that diagnosis here that you're getting denied on so much? Or was it in?
Yeah. There was no one ever spoke of being autistic until I moved to the UK. I was very good at masking, I suppose, confusion a lot. So yeah, I was told I was dyslexic when I was in university, but they just said, you're dyslexic. And I said, great. And that was it.
What's that mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't help.
Yeah, that doesn't help. And somehow I managed to kind of drag myself through. I would say, I think in the UK, my dad told me after I was diagnosed, he said, you probably never would have gotten that diagnosis here. That was 11 years ago. I think it's different, a little bit different now. Or I would have learned, what's great now. And there's always been an autistic community, but because of online, there's so much information out there from autistic people now that, it's in some ways it's easier to kind of be able to self-diagnose or discover that you're autistic in a positive way. And that's, for me, I had no clue. I went through the assessment. It really upset me. And I read all these books by neuroscientists and psychologists, which were horrible and said really negative things about being autistic. And I guess for me, I wanted to make art about being autistic and try to focus on the positives of how amazing autistic people are. Because I'm especially 11 years ago, it was so negative. Everything about what it meant to be autistic was symptoms and very pathologized. So yeah, that's what I started to do. I wanted to work with women and non-binary people and trans people, and kind of find out what their experience of being autistic was through creative workshops. And I made a performance about my own experience of being autistic. And then with Chloe at the end, made a piece of performance work with 5 other autistic people from the workshops that wanted to be involved, kind of to show their experience of being autistic as well. So
where's your sound effects? That should have got a woo! There we go. I mean,
I was in the moment. I was feeling it. I was like, yes, I wish I had that when I was younger.
Just like, yes, bitch, snaps.
When I was like figuring out if I'm autistic or not, I like wrote down like the list of like, these are the official autistic traits. So I asked like everybody in my circle and I was like, y'all, do I have these traits? And they were like, why are you asking? And I was like, because I want to know, just answer the question. And they were like, and then I had to explain, I was like, I think I'm autistic. And they're like, oh, tragic. Oh no.
Yeah.
There's no way. That's so sad. And I'm like, can you calm down? Like, that's not what I'm looking for.
That's the one that kills me is when everybody's like, oh my God, this is so sad. They're just like,
I'm not dying.
Nothing changed. It's not like I got cancer yesterday. I didn't have cancer. Today I may have.
I know.
Cancer. Yesterday I was autistic. Today I'm autistic too. Nothing changed.
Today I'm slightly more autistic.
You got the vaccine. I'm less autistic, right? No, I'm sorry. Oh shit, I'm going to hell.
I remember going to a performance festival in about 2014, 13 or something. And saying, telling people I wanted to make art about what it was for me, my experience of being autistic. And people just looked at me like you said, Duante. They looked at me like I was telling them I had cancer and I wanted to talk about that. But, now people make podcasts about having cancer as well. So things have changed a lot.
I just lost my left testicle. How y'all doing?
It's the fault in our podcast.
One ball, one nut loose is what they call it. Is one nut loose. No shit. I need to stop. I'm going to hell with
We're already going to hell. I reserved us a spot.
That's right. She's like, we've been going for a while. There's a reservation.
It's our vacation destination.
We've got a whole table.
It's really hot there.
Well, let me ask you this, Annette. You said you got your diagnosis. Your dad was surprised. He's like, you wouldn't even have got that over here. What was the biggest benefit for you when you felt like you were diagnosed? What was the advantage for you?
I think it probably wasn't until I discovered the autistic community, which was quite a few years later. I guess for me, it was, at first you kind of like, you're happy. You're like, finally, there's a reason, there's an answer. I'm autistic.
I'm weird, I'm autistic.
Yeah, exactly. And I think actually the community, really, finding the autistic community and finding that actually I don't have to use negative labels anymore, that I can have a label as autistic and be a part of a huge group of people that are amazing. And that just was everything to me. I mean, one of the things that I did as part of my performance of Adventures of Super Hottie Girl was I wrote all the words, all the labels that people told me I was, that I kind of internalized, I would call internalized ableism, about myself. So people used to say I was lazy, crazy, hysterical, off-puttish, standoffish, strange, weird, all those things. Yeah, and I covered my entire body with Sharpie marker with all those words. I did it very creatively, so it was all like in spirals and I did usually take about 4 hours to do that before the performance, and then I would put on this super aughty girl costume, which was a blue unitard with an applique that said super aughty girl, because yes, my attention is going crazy, because basically one of the first things I ever did once I started looking into what it was to be autistic was I started making appliques in response to all, like, Simon Baron-Cohen, all the kind of specialists, autistic people, scientists, that basically were saying everything about me, was wrong, basically. And I wanted to kind of counteract that. So one of the first ones I did was autistic is awesome, because I just wanted to say something positive about being autistic. Yeah. And so, that's why I had an applique. So throughout the entire performance, I'm wearing this suit. And then at the end of the performance, I take the suit off. And you can just, I guess in some ways, that's like my mask. And you can just see this kind of all these words on my body, written on my body. And then I kind of asked audience members to come up on stage and be kind of complicit in some ways in writing a word on my back.
This reminds me of the new movie. What is it? Can I help you, sir, or whatever? Do you know what I'm talking about, with Danny Glover and Childish Gambino? And they have to the one black girl's doing a what's the company? Fuck, it's a weird fucking movie. I need to figure out what the name of it. But like they're all like, it's weird. It's just, damn it, does nobody know what I'm talking about right now?
If only Nick was here, he would know.
Fuck you guys right now. You guys aren't helping me at all.
I'm thinking, the only thing I can think of is Memento, but I know it's not that. That's a very old film.
No,
the
it's
guy
not Memento.
Tattooed himself.
I'm trying to look it up right now. It's got Danny Glover in it, and it's not Childish Gambino.
Danny Glover.
I can't think of the guy's name. Fuck. It's a hell of a movie. I'll probably figure it out when we get off of the fucking broadcast.
Yeah, of course.
Right? But it's weird. It's a weird movie. Damn it, I wish I could think of the name of it. It's like Cold Sir. It's something fucking weird. Now I gotta find it.
What happens in the movie?
No, it's weird. That's what I'm saying, is I don't know how. It's got Donald. Damn it. This is gonna piss me off. I'm gonna have you guys just talk for 5 minutes, and then I'm gonna get in the movie.
Okay.
Hey, here, found it. This is what it was. Son of a bitch. But basically, it's about a corporation, and everybody works for the corporation. This guy starts as a telemarketer, and they teach him how to talk white. So then he starts talking white. He's like, no, you got to use your white voice. And they talk like totally different. It's fucking the weirdest thing. And there's the expressionism part where the girl's having everybody throw stuff at her and hit her with stuff because it's got all these words. And it's the symbolism. And fuck, I'm going to figure out what the movie is. Now I'm fucking pissed. But, and I lost my train of thought between the two goddamn motherfuckers.
Expressionism, and they're throwing things at a lady because of performance.
Yeah. What I was gonna say is it's weird the way you say that, is because there's so many things, and when I hear you talk about, I don't know, not everybody knows you're weird, right? Or you're autistic.
Yeah.
Right? But when you're autistic and you find out, then you start looking at other people and going, you're autistic too, right? And I hear you talking, and I feel like we're spirit animals, because you're a lot like me. A lot of people look at you, go, you're socially this. When somebody was like, one of our fans was commenting on your attractiveness, right? And like, there's so many other things going on with you, right? And they're like, well, she's smart, she's intelligent, she's a good-looking woman. She's not autistic. She's fine. And then you talk, and I see you having your stress ball moment, or your focus, or OCD, or you're like me. We can have a conversation in 30 different streets and still all be going different directions, but still be on the same page. Hey, by the way, the movie's name was this, that, and the other. Everybody, all three of us would be, okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Regular people would be like, what movie are you talking about, bro?
Yeah.
That was like three conversations ago.
I got that.
Yeah, we've moved on from that. And they're like, No, this whole time we've been talking, I've been trying to figure
What do you
out
mean
the
you
answer to
move
that
on
question.
from parts of a conversation?
Yeah, exactly. No, you have to find out what it is. It drives you insane until you find it out. It's impossible.
I'll be posting this later. Like, this is the answer. For all you guys who were watching earlier, here's the answer. It was just, we don't care
And then
anymore.
anyone who wasn't watching is gonna be like, "Bro, what are you on?"
Leave the drugs alone. Right? So I also heard your thesis was called Autistic Queer Pioneers. You made it rhyme.
Yeah,
Neuroqueer.
that's a vibe.
Neuroqueer. Please add. Please divulge a little more if you would.
Okay, autistic neuroqueer pioneers. So that was actually a quote. So one of the first workshops that I did with the autistic participants, which were autistic women, non-binary, and trans people, was asked them to create an applique that portrayed their kind of sense of being autistic, like what it was that kind of, and in a positive way. So thinking about kind of how you emulate, your experience of being autistic, and it doesn't have to make sense to anybody else. So, one is bumfuzzle. Somebody did. They appliqued bumfuzzle because it was a word that they loved. Chloe did sausages because that's Chloe's very favorite word. And this was somebody theirs was autistic neuroqueer pioneers. Now they just did letters because that's a lot of letters to applique and it takes a long time. So that was one of the workshops that I did with people, and that became actually part of something that me and Chloe do together now. We do something called Autistic Discovery Journey. And it's basically a structured support program for autistic people to kind of discover what it is to be autistic with other autistic people. Because that's one of the things that we discovered in my workshops as part of the PhD, was that we autistic people, we need to know other autistic people. We need to know other neurodivergent people. And all of a sudden you realize, oh my gosh, I'm just a normal autistic person. I'm just a normal neurodivergent person. I'm not weird or strange or different or, although I enjoy being those things.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not cancer. It's not. I'm not gonna die, right?
It's not a tragedy.
Cancer either, right? I think the one I had to tell somebody, because like I think in the Black community is the big one, is like, so let me give you a heads up. Here's what's gonna happen. Your kid's gonna miss out on a lot of fake friends that weren't their friends anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
What's that mean? They're not going to know people are their friends or not. And by the time they do, the people that really like them, guess what? They like them. Or they're serial manipulators and narcissists. Never mind. That's a different conversation. They figured out our little cues and how to play our little keys, and they figured out us before we have. There's some of those people out there, too. We talked about that. But you brought up queerness, transgender.
Yeah.
And I remember one of the statistics we had looked at was that there's a higher propensity for that when people are autistic, right?
Yeah.
There's a higher propensity for them to be LGBTQ in some way, right? And I think it was the lack of the social guidance on what you like is what gets us there. Do you have any, I guess, experience with that, or?
Well, yeah. I kind of figured out in my 20s that I was pansexual or bisexual at the time, but I kind of identify as pansexual now.
Yeah, I like the way you said that, bisexual. I'm older. I was like, when they told me what pansexual was, it's like, so they're bi. They're like, no, it's different. Yeah. Never mind, I'm old.
Yeah, and so
what does pansexual mean?
So what does pansexual mean? Basically, I don't distinguish. I could date anyone. So if they were, a trans person or a non-binary person, I would be dating them. Where I don't know, the old version bi, and I think maybe this is changing now. It gets confusing to me, but is basically says you would date a man or a woman, but that kind of negates a lot of people in our society.
Yeah. Well, bi's
Okay.
kind
That
of
don't
the umbrella
identify as
term. It's like you like people of more than one gender, basically, and
yeah.
then everything else is like a little subcategory. Also, side note that I got excited about, I just designed a pan pride sticker. It's a pancake, but the colors are the pan flag, so it's a pancake.
Oh, it's amazing!
Yeah.
I love it.
Where's the sound effects? I need to start getting them so I can go
Yeah.
because that's a shitty joke. That's fun. That's funny. That's very funny. That's unbearable, right? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so I've always kind of been a proud member of the LGBTQAI plus community.
Join the
Although,
party.
it wasn't great back, 30 years ago. There wasn't as much acceptance for bisexual people back then. There is much, much more now. But yeah, so then I realized while I was working with the group, there was a lot of people who were, a lot of people actually during the workshops started to change their name or realize that they were non-binary, wanted to try it out in the group because it was quite an open group. It was an autistic space. It was really accepting. And yeah, that's when I kind of discovered that there's quite a few papers and research about the kind of propensity for autistic people to more likely possibly be trans. We don't really know why. And it might just be that autistic people tend to not like to follow the rules. We like to follow rules, but we don't like to follow rules. And we don't follow societal norms a lot of times.
And that's why I said on one of them, because I feel like it's the idea that nobody's gonna tell me who I like, right? And I'm not really on this whole sexual spectrum of what's sexy or not. I just know I like to hang out with Dave. Dave likes my company. I love Dave. That means I'm gay. I love guys, right? And I'm not making it that simple, but you get what I'm laughing at here. That is the kind of what you see some of us do, and that's how it works, right? And then even for myself at a younger age, there was I'm friends with boys. Am I gay? I'm not gonna lie to you. 13, 14, am I gay? I got a lot of guy friends. Am I gay? I don't, that you start analyzing if your personality traits mean you're gay because you see that being broken down in front of you, right? And all these different things. And then I think, like you said, the rules don't apply. I'm going to be friends with whoever I want to be friends with. And I'm going to explore whatever I want to explore. And I want to kiss this other person who's maybe my same. And then I learned something today. I didn't understand the reason why we say pansexual instead of bisexual. Bisexual means just boys and girls, not everything. See?
Yeah.
We're learning here. Growth moment today.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
So the other thing I discovered by working with this amazing group of autistic people is that actually I am non-binary, and I didn't really realize it until I was like 49 years old. And that's another thing that a lot of older autistic people are discovering, is that because we mask who we are as autistic people, we mask who we don't even know who we are really, because we're trying to people please constantly and try to figure out the world and mask that constant confusion. But we also mask our gender identity as well, because that doesn't necessarily fit into societal norms. And so that was a huge realization, and I thank all those people in that, all autistic people in general, because I've learned so much from the community, and I can't believe where I've come since I started this journey and found out that I was autistic 11 years ago.
Yeah, when Audra was explaining what masking was, I was like, that sounds a lot like being in the closet and pretending to be straight.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Right?
It's like the same thing.
That sounds like colorism. That sounds like for passing white, right? If you're mixed and you're trying to pass white, and when I'm trying to act like I'm whiter around certain people or act like I'm blacker around, same thing? Oh, no way. I've been, right? Like, I'm mixed. I've been masking in so many ways my whole fucking life. Are you kidding me? No fucking way, right?
I didn't know it was part of the package deal.
And I think it's funny because every interview goes the same for most of us, because when we talk to, there's a frustration there's a missing piece. There's a lack of understanding about yourself. And then once we received our diagnosis, you're like, so that's why I do that. Or that explains this, right? Or okay, I don't feel so bad about that. Or I'm comfortable in telling people I'm autistic. They're like, well, you seem fine. Great, cool. You don't know me that well, right? Ta-da! Yeah,
exactly.
And they're like, you don't look like it. And there's like, I'm not supposed to look a certain way.
I hate that so much because it's like, what's autistic supposed to look like, you weirdo?
Right. And then when we talk about this whole idea of, so I've watched a video, there's a bad video where the Dr. Phil guy really attacks a trans girl, a trans woman for being trans woman. And what's the definition of woman? And I finally figured out what's wrong with that video. Sexuality and gender are not the same thing.
No.
You got it.
Hey, I'm 2 for 2 today.
Yeah.
All right, right. Hey, you look like Fraggle Rock over there. She's lunar. Or the Muppets, right? But that's the thing is they're two different things, right? And the societal idea of what role you want to play in life is not the same as your sexual reproductive organs, right? And whether or not you want to be mad about somebody being able to even get those sexual organs reassigned, that's none of your goddamn business, right? I don't give a shit. You got to pay for it, not me, right? But the biggest thing I hear here and what was cool to me is like, people don't understand that for a lot of people, especially with autism, you're masking and hiding all these things. So when you finally get told I can be me, I'm okay with me being me. There's a reason for me being me that even though you don't understand, I'm okay with understanding. It's really empowering, right?
Yeah.
It's really free. You know, I tell people sometimes I'm autistic and they're like, why do you tell me that? I said, well, there's going to be something I do, I know that you're going to think's weird. And when that happens, remember, I'm Asperger's. I'm a little bit different. I'm socially a little weird. I might disappear and be like, why did he leave? Where did Duante go? Well, something happened to me socially that made me feel uncomfortable, and I don't want to talk about it or explore if I'm right or wrong. So guess what? I just fucking left.
Yeah. And having, you know, being able to do that as well, like self-care is so important, to be kind to yourself and to take care of yourself. And if you need to leave a situation because you think you might have a meltdown or your energy is just so incredibly low or you're just so uncomfortable, then do leave, you know, and don't feel that social pressure to kind of stay in a situation that, you know, you don't feel comfortable in. And I think that is a huge thing that I did most of my life, where I just sat and smiled and laughed and usually had no even, you know, you think about like bars and clubs and even crowded cafes. I can't hear I can hear everything, but I can't hear what people are saying to me, you know, and I just used to sit there and laugh and pretend that I understood what people were saying, because you say what about 5 times and then it's useless.
It gets more and more awkward after that. It's like, it's too late now.
And then like you've done it so many times that you're just that I don't like it, right? Not only do I not like it, but I don't think it has any value anymore. I've missed 7 fucking things in this fucking conversation. I'm tired of interrupting. Kind of like when I'm interviewing you. Oh, sorry, speak again. Well, I don't even want to fucking tell my story if you can't fucking listen. How many people are too impatient? I just got my hearing aid. So for everybody who knows, I'm deaf. So before now, I was over here chuckling. What do you mean? Go to a bar, not hear anybody, just sit in the corner and act like you're being social? That counts as going out? Who's done that? Raise your hand. Right? And then now that I've been diagnosed, you know, I don't do that as much. I'll just stay home.
Yeah, exactly. I just stopped doing a lot of the things that I didn't enjoy or I thought I should enjoy. Everyone else seemed to be enjoying themselves, but I wasn't. And that was hard. You know, people were like, you used to be able to do all these things, Annette. And I said, yeah, I didn't enjoy them. And it was detrimental to my mental health and my physical health, really.
Oh my God.
Well, I think people don't understand the difference between
Guess
like
what I got?
doing,
I found it. I found
Did
it.
you get the name?
Yes!
You got the name.
I found the fucking movie. It's called Sorry to Bother You. It was weird as fucking shit.
I'm going to have to watch it now.
Yes, watch the movie
Okay.
Sorry to Bother You. It's going to have an expressive performance at the end that you'll love. Sorry.
Great.
Spoilers.
So
I finally
well, actually, can I be really attention differences and go back to what we were talking about when
Yes,
you
of
first
course.
thought about the film, because
Oh, and now you're like, oh, let's finish the conversation.
yeah.
Yes, let's do it. Let's really show
We go
we're
back.
all autistic.
Go
And everybody on the podcast is okay with it. We're like, yeah, we did want you to finish that bit. What were you going to say? This sounds juicy. Go ahead.
So I talked about people writing on my back. And then what I did was I wanted to show how hard it is to get rid of those negative labels, get rid of that label of lazy every time I'm burned out because I've been, doing too much social stuff or whatever it is. So I got a massive scrub brush and a bucket of soapy water, and I scrub the Sharpie marker off of my skin. But obviously that's not an easy thing to do, so it starts to go red. And I continue to scrub it until I get most of it off. But that's kind of in my way.
I want you to watch this movie. You're gonna send me a message. You're gonna be like, I so identify with this scene in this movie. And I haven't seen your act. Didn't see what you did, but when you watch it, I'm pretty sure I want you to have Chloe send me a message. You're like, oh my God, I was seen. Duante saw me. He understood.
Amazing.
You heard my whole message. That big black guy's my spirit animal. God damn it. How you doing, sunshine? But guess what? Yeah, I know. Oh, I should have got I know. I printed on you, fucker. Right? But to me, it's crazy because, like, it's I don't know, as artists, as people, as performers, as I think podcasters, as entertainers, I think we're all becoming to be in our own spotlight. And I don't mean that to you so much as I mean me, all three of us collectively, and it's all catching up. But we affect so many people, and the voice you have affects so many people that when you start finding you're representing people, you feel like you're making a change. Because when people give you their story, or you see them change, or they see them accept themselves, or make this move, it feels awesome to be like, I kind of inspired that. I gave somebody the time, their light. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think somebody asked me yesterday what was the value of podcasting, and I was like, or doing these things, and I was like, you got to find a Venn diagram where two things intersect that people can find interesting. And in your case, it's autism and being LGBTQ, right? In my case, it's being autistic and being an artist or performer. And how does that? But when you find this Venn diagram intersection, that's where that intersection area. And I just showed I'm a nerd. The Venn diagram is the two circles.
I know it.
And the shaded area in between, or 3 to 4 to 5 on how many Venn diagrams you want.
There you go.
How many variables are in your equation, motherfucker? Ah! We're teaching math and getting over disabilities today. But when I said that yesterday, I was like, I'm going to use that. Because when they said that to me, that is truly what happens. And I think when we start doing these things, it is really inspirational. It's cool. But it's also great to have these conversations because people are watching this episode, and I've already seen 4 or 5 comments where like, oh my God, this is a great conversation. Well, yeah, we're talking about naturally things that we're both going through, and they're all things that we can all separately identify with. And we're all from within 40 miles of each other because Janejira is from Linwood. You're from Sammamish. I'm from the Seattle Burien area, right? But we didn't grow up together. Neither we've got almost all the different 7 races or continents covered here between the 3 of us, right? Native American, she's got some Asians, and you've got all the whites. You know what I mean? I've got.
All the whites.
All the egg whites.
Yep.
Right. So then we've got also the diversity pot here is between us. We've got the resources to say we probably came from every continent between just the 3 people, but we're from Seattle and we're all autistic, and all 3 of us, a lot of people don't look autistic, right? So we've heard the same shit, all 3 of us, and then it's like, well, how many other people are dealing with this, right? And even though you're white, you're still a woman. Most people we know who are autistic aren't a woman, aren't a minority, and definitely not black, right? So now we're giving the representation of people, and I think I just want to commend you. You've taught me a lot in this episode, and it seems like you've helped a lot of people out. I guess that's what I was getting at. I finally woke up. Shit, leave me alone. But it's part of the show. I'm gonna step back. I'll do it a little later, but
It's time! Welcome to the lightning round.
Ooh, how
Yeah.
exciting.
So we're going to
Oh,
ask
yeah,
you-
look at her. Her British accent came out there. Oh, shit. Oh, sorry.
We're going to ask 3 really super fun, awesome, amazing, lighthearted, cute, quirky questions. And then 3 like regular, deep, philosophical, feelsy questions. And it's going to be super duper fun. But first, I want to ask the absolute most important question out of all of them. What is your favorite dinosaur?
My favorite dinosaur. What is my favorite dinosaur?
Look how she took out her stress ball. This has been the oh shit.
No,
Real. They're gonna judge me on these answers. I gotta fill in. This is like the first day of school. I knew I shouldn't have wore polka dots, Mom. Thanks.
Okay, I'm going to show ignorance here because I don't really know dinosaurs. And it's so funny because everybody in my life loves dinosaurs. But I have no memory.
You're
for-
not really
for
autistic.
words.
I
Never
don't
mind.
know the
Get her
long
off.
I know.
Just know the cute ones.
I know. I quite like the ones that eat vegetables. They're really tall. They have really long neck. What are their names?
It's gonna be a Apatosaurus,
Yeah.
Ultrasaurus, Bronchiosaurus.
They're just the gentle ones.
You like
I
that's
like
a,
them.
that's a shitty fucking answer. I'm like carnivore.
Gentle giant. Although Chloe,
meat eater.
this is a little crocheted dinosaur that was given to me by Chloe. Yes, which is quite cute, and I quite love it.
That was a way better answer. It's got fucking horns.
I'm so sorry. I should have just came with that one.
Ah, fuck you.
I panicked.
We're getting
I
her out
panicked.
here. Where's Chloe at? She is the fun one. These answers are horrible. All right, I'll ask the serious question. Let me ask you, since you've been autistic, right? What is the biggest? I don't know. The biggest way it's helped your art. How has it helped you the most being autistic? What's your superpower? I guess I would say with autism.
Oh God, what is my superpower? Probably that my superpower is just making mistakes and being honest about it, I think.
Oh,
Yeah, that's my superpower. So just being a disaster most of the time, but being honest with people about it, and people really, well, especially other autistic people, incredibly, they appreciate that because most people don't do that. They don't tell you when they get something wrong, or that they've had a bad day, or
Yeah.
That's me all the
Yeah.
time.
People say that to me all the time. Like, you overshare a lot. I'm like, no, I don't. I'm just fucking honest. It's Tuesday.
Yeah.
I got fired last week for some racist shit. I was feeling a little suicidal. Sorry. That's the truth. What the fuck?
Exactly.
I lost my job, and they told me I was a big, angry black guy when I told them they did something racist. That kind of fucks with your mind. It's a mind fuck, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, that honesty, I would say, yeah, same thing. I know what you mean. I heard what you said, sister. Go ahead. What you got, Janejira?
Yes. If you could be a dessert, what dessert would you be and why?
What dessert would I be and why? Okay. I'm just trying to think. Oh, what would I be? Well, I would probably be. Now, this is a British thing just popped into my head, which is a trifle, which I don't even know if you know what that is.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
Fat guy.
exactly.
I don't even know the dessert. You know,
I
fat
think
guy
that's a
doesn't know.
describing word.
Yeah. But it's like layered. So it's got like custard in it, and it's got usually Jello. So British would say jelly, and like strawberries or raspberries, and then
Like
whipped
a parfait.
cream. Yeah, kind of like a parfait. So like just
Fucking
layered. Like there's
parfait,
lots
yeah.
of
Wait,
stuff
does it
going
look
on.
like- does it look like this?
It would, yeah, but it's a bit, yeah. So yeah, that's what I would be.
Okie dokie.
Why? I think probably because I am multi-layered person, and I'm still discovering parts about myself, I suppose.
Oh.
And I feel like I always will. I love learning new things, and that's another thing that I think a lot of autistic people, we love researching things. We love discovering new things and kind of really going in deep and finding out about things. And I think, yeah, that's why I'm a trifle. I don't know.
a hell of an answer. You've gotten me one. I'm fucking hungry now. I'm looking at trifles. Like, that looks kind of good. I
The
fucking
strawberry
trifle right
dream.
now, or a parfait. Call it whatever the fuck you want. It looks like it looks fucking delicious. The fat guy, he's like, hey, you ever make love to a cake at 2 a.m? Oh, sorry. Never mind.
I think maybe the only reference to that in America is when Rachel from Friends made a trifle, but she accidentally put meat in it. So it's the only American reference.
I remember, and my face looks just like Ross's. I can remember, and then when they ate it there.
Yeah. Oh, there's meat in this.
Yeah, hair. Let me ask you. So I'll go. I don't want to do all the serious questions, so I'm gonna do a funny. I'm gonna do.
Okay.
If you go anywhere in the world, I love this is the most exciting part. Chloe did the same thing. She's, oh my god, this is so fun. If you could go anywhere in the world, where would you go?
Anywhere in the world. I think I would go. I've always wanted to go to South America. I'd love to go to Brazil.
Ooh,
Um,
yes.
and as an art student, I remember studying Brasilia, which is kind of the capital, which is in like the desert part. It's not actually Brazil, but it's like an amazing kind of city that is all the buildings are massive and there's loads of art. And they designed the highways so that there was no stoplights for ages. I think they put stoplights in because that became a problem. But yeah, I've always wanted to go there.
I wouldn't even know if
The
it's
art, the culture, everything.
problem for us because in Mexico there's not a lot of stoplights either.
Yeah.
We're used to driving that way, but then Americans get what the fuck's going on, Jose? Are you turning left? Where's the fucking stop sign? God damn it! And, we get enough tourists who can't drive. Next thing you know, you're putting up stop signs and stoplights. That shit's true. I just remember. Well, Brazil. The reason why I think Brazil's crazy is because that's a different kind of weather. It's about 90 degrees. It's humid or super dry. You're either in the Amazon or you're in the desert, like you said. So that's a good luck. Bring some suntan lotion in there.
Just a little bit of suntan lotion.
Right, and bring just a little bit. All right, Janejira, you got a serious question.
Okay. If you were given the opportunity to give a TED Talk about whatever, what would you talk about?
Oh my, a TED Talk. It's about, probably about the importance of autistic culture and community, and how the autistic community needs to be recognized as such, and that we do have culture and we do have community, and that we communicate differently, and that's okay, and kind of making that a bit more mainstream, because I think so many people just know nothing about it. And it's amazing, and autistic people are awesome, and people need to know that.
Yes.
What? No way. Are we gonna we're not crying. I wasn't gonna cry. I told myself I wasn't gonna cry this episode, and you're getting close. There's something dusty in the room. I'm just saying. Sorry. Anyway, so I got the last serious question right, and I think I got a pretty good one. I thought I did, and then I went fucking blank. That's fucking awesome. Being on this podcast, we always talk about like the highs and lows of autism and all that. What do you think is the biggest benefit you've had of becoming part of this community?
Biggest benefit, I think, is it's just such a simple thing, but to be kinder to myself on a daily basis, and to have people around me that let me be who I am, and like the autistic things about me. They like the quirky things about me.
17 fidgeters I've seen. I haven't said anything.
Yeah.
No, she's got. I've noticed. This motherfucker's got a lot of shit over there. I see watermelon shit. Go ahead, but yeah, nobody was.
I love stimming. And now I think I changed my answer. I would probably talk about stimming at my TED Talk. That would be, yeah. Well, I guess that's part of autistic culture is stimming. Yeah. So the benefits of for autistic people well-being to STEM because it has been something that has been seen as a symptom of autism, something to be eradicated. But actually, it's part of the way autistic people naturally move, and it's been kind of beaten out of us to a certain degree by society because it's strange or weird. And I had to reteach myself how to STEM, but it has helped me immensely.
I stemmed. I'm glad you said that word because I kept wanting to call it a tick. So when I went to the job and I was having this bad time, I was sitting here and I was crushing the bottle like this. And they were like, "That's aggressive," and I was like, "No, it's not. I'm not aggressive at all. And I couldn't think of the word. I was like, I was like, this is just like a squeeze ball, but I was stemming. I was focusing on the sound and trying to get because I was literally just sitting. I was fucking pissed. I was livid, and this lady was looking at me, and she was like, "I can tell you're mad." And I'm just, and she's like, "You need to calm down." And I'm like, "I am calm. This is what's keeping me calm. If I stop
Exactly.
this bottle, I'm gonna lose my shit." She's like, "Well, that's hyper aggressive." It's not aggressive at all. It's actually calming me. I'm not aggressive at all. I'm trying to function right now, and this is what's making me be. So yes, great episode.
Exactly. That's why you need more things like this.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's not aggressive.
Can we get some fidget toy
But
companies
that's
to
the thing is,
sponsor us?
then they offered me the little Metro bus to squeeze, which was soft. I was like, "What's the difference between me squeezing my bottle and me squeezing that stress toy?"
Yeah. Nothing.
I'm deaf, so I like the sound, and then I
Yeah.
like the idea that it's coming back against me, and so for me, I like this more because if I squeeze, I'm gonna squeeze it all the way down. My hands are huge.
Yep.
That's not. There's no. I don't know.
Yeah. And every single person is going to have a different object that's going to work for them to stim. And like you said, the sound is a massive thing for you. Some people, it's visual things. They really like looking at like shiny objects or things that like I've got this pen, which is quite cool,
Yeah.
which when you spin it, it does that. I love that.
Yes.
That epileptic shock. Thanks, Audra. It's Annette's fault. All 911. And Audra just had a fucking seizure. Thanks.
Are you like that as well? A little bubble
Dinosaur.
puppy dinosaur. There we go.
Puppy dinosaur. It's a dinosaur.
Yeah. But yeah, I think we kind of came up with something called mindful stimming because mindfulness for a lot of autistic people is really, really difficult. So we just basically teach people how to kind of concentrate on their sensory world. I mean, because neurodivergent people, autistic people in particular, our fundamental experience of the sensory world is different, and that changes the way we interact with the world, the way we communicate, the way we move, the way we relate to things is different because of that fundamental difference in our experience of the sensory world. And that means we need to regulate more as autistic people. So we either have too little or too much sensory information. And stimming basically helps us regulate that. It has a massive function in autistic culture. Yeah. And everybody, it's good for everybody.
Even regular people, you can stim too.
Yeah.
That's where they hold up. For all you regulars or you normies, as I like to say, for all the normies, that's what the fuck a fidget spinner is. It's a stimming device, you son of a bitches. It's all a fidget spinner ever was, right?
Exactly. It got taken away from the autistic kids.
Well, we do something.
Commandeered.
You get to ask us a question. It can be serious, or it can be fun.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna ask a question that's dearest to my heart, which totally relates to this, but you've already answered actually. What is your favorite stim?
Oh,
Your favorite stim?
I love feeling things that are like soft and fuzzy.
Ooh, yes. Textures of things, soft and fuzzy things. Yes.
actually, for me,
Do you have a mallow?
No, I really want one.
You should
What
get
is
one.
the mallow?
It's a squishmallow. It's like a giant plushie, and it's soft and squishy, but it's not
Of
too
course.
squishy.
Yeah.
It's just the right amount of squish.
This is one. It's very, very soft.
Oh,
It's incredibly
for our
soft.
listener only audience, it is a owl squashmallow, and it is very cute, and it's gray, and it has pointy ears.
Thank you very much.
Very
Don't worry.
important.
Okay,
She always does that for us because I'm an asshole. I'm just like, whatever. I don't care.
that's awesome.
My favorite stemming activity, I think when I'm really, really frustrated or I'm really, really anxious, it's the you can see my water bottle shakings. You can see
Yeah.
it shaking around me. You can see the flame. I do the leg twitch, right? And then like I think to calm me down is I need physical touch. So for me, like texture, contact, touch, those are my favorite stemming things to calm down.
Mm, mm.
I'm a little different. Like if really what I really need is touch, to be held, I need to be squeezed. I think that used to when I was younger,
Yeah,
the biggest thing for me is for somebody to squeeze me. I don't
I
know.
really, that's totally, a lot of autistic people need pressure because that has to do with proprioception. It has to do with
Yeah.
feeling like you're floaty, feeling like you don't know where you are in space. That's why we have weighted blankets. Those,
Yeah.
a lot of people like
I
those.
got a weighted blanket and it was that when somebody gave it to me, it was like, where's this been in my whole life?
Yeah. I did this strange thing. I've always done it. I've always liked to have people just with all their clothes on, no funny business, just lay on top of me. I
Yes.
really like the full body, everything has to be like on top of me, and that's really nice.
Yeah, the resistance. I lay on my girlfriend all the time, and I want her to just lay on me. Like the
Yes.
resistance that you feel alive because there's something weighing against you, or you feel. I don't know. I'm glad you understood what I meant by that. I didn't feel so weird.
No,
Thank you.
actually, I
Yeah.
just texted my partner and was like, "Yo, I found out why I like it when you squeeze me with your thighs. It's an thing."
It's the resistance.
Yes, I have an answer.
It
It wasn't just me.
commonalities.
Exactly.
Well, we've hit it. Guess what? It's been more than an hour. I know.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, I
We
noticed.
hit an hour and 10. We went a little longer. So tell us a little bit. Give us your spiel. Any last things you want us to know about? What do you got? Tell us about it. Yeah, this is your close.
Okay. What do I say? Let's see. I work with Chloe on Academy, and yeah, we do something called Autistic Discovery Journey, which is basically kind of teaching people how to be autistic again, I suppose, in a lot of ways, or how rediscovering what it is for them to be autistic, and that's through Academy, which is
like Academy with a U in between the A and the C. So
yeah.
spell Duante all weird. They spell Academy all weird with a U after the A, basically. So it's Academy. Cause sure, like it should be Duante. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let's see. I do consults with autistic people as well, talking about their autistic experience with them, and we kind of have this. It's interesting because I've kind of transitioned into working with autistic people now, and I do also need to figure because I've just finished my PhD, but I'm just trying to figure out how I do creative things as part of working with autistic people, but my artwork has kind of gone to the side, so I need to kind of get back into that again, and kind of
Yes, always do
start.
more art.
I know. It feels is well, doing a PhD. You'd think that would help, but that actually made it really hard to actually make art.
I've got my master's and fuck a PhD. I don't need that. I'm not going that
I got a
far.
bachelor.
No, don't do
I'm
it.
still broke.
No, I always kind of say don't do it. I mean, I'm really glad I did because it completely changed my life, and I've learned so much. So in some ways, it's been absolutely amazing. And I have made some amazing art as part of my PhD with a lot of autistic people, which was, life-changing and amazing. And hopefully we'll continue with Academy. Who knows? Maybe Adventures of Super Autie Gang will come to the U.S. on a tour.
Yeah. We could have Superman in it. That'd be dope.
Yeah.
The autistic comedic superhero, right? All he
That
does
would be amazing.
what's on his mind. I'm black, no shit. You notice I was black today, and people go, that black guy just said he was black. No shit. You just locked your doors and grabbed your purses. I'm just stating the obvious. Duh. Oh, sorry.
But yeah, I'm very bad at kind of selling myself, so I'll just be quiet now because I feel like I'm rambling.
Hey, check out Academy. It's AUCADEMY. They're based out of England. You can find them on Facebook. I think you guys got a website.
Facebook, we have a website, academy.co. Now I'm like, what is it?
Just gotta make sure it's right.
Together. I'm gonna need you to act like you knew you were having an interview today, even though we did it an hour late. Who cares? You knew this was happening. Anyways,
it's academy.co.uk, and it's education about autistic experience by autistic people, neurodivergent people. So we interview autistic people on a weekly basis, all about all sorts of things autistic. We also have, so we've got websites, we've got social groups. So we have social groups that are on Zoom twice a week that autistic people can join for free. We've got about 500 interviews with different autistic people on all sorts of amazing topics because autistic people are multi-talented and super interesting. And I also do consults, kind of mentoring or coaching people on autistic experience.
Give it up for Annette Foster, everybody.
Yeah.
All right, I'm done. Woo. Hey, give it up one more time for our co-host, the hostess with the mostest, with the all right. There we go. There's the graphics. There's the sound effects. And give it up for broccoli, potato chip enthusiast, Janejira Damron.
Yes.
I love him.
Last but not least, I'm the host with the most, Duante Barnett. I think we'll be doing Dating with Disabilities next week or the week after. We had a scheduling issue. To catch that, we'll have raw comedy next week as well. We've got that lineup out. Erica Switzer, who's now doing Chocolate Sundays out of Chicago, Illinois. She'll be our headliner next week. Audra might not be hosting it, so that sounds like I might be hosting. We'll figure it out. But thank you for tuning in today. You have a great rest of your Sunday. Soup Man out, motherfuckers.